Hey, it's John. Welcome back to the show. And this is an album ranking. On today's show, I will rank the 7 studio albums from that wonderful hard rock and party band from Baltimore, Maryland, Kix. Kix were an active band from 1980 till 2023. They took a little bit of a break from the mid 90s till about 2003. And from that point until they ended their career, they were primarily a live band, although they did release a studio album during that time. The main lineup from Kix was Steve Whiteman on lead vocals and harmonica, Donnie Purnell on bass guitar, keyboards and backing vocals, Ronnie Youngkins on guitar, Brian Forsyth on guitar, Jimmy Chalfant on drums and percussion. They also had a few other members go through the band at various times. They had Brad Divins as a guitarist on the Cool Kids album. They had Jimmy K. Bones in the band at some times during the 1990s. He plays guitar these days with Willie Niles' band. And they had Bob Pear in the band for several years on lead guitar as well. So, 7 studio albums here, all very solid to great. Let's get into it. My number 7 is the band's 6th album, released in 1995 on CMC International Records. This is Show Business. This is the only album by Kix that you cannot find on Spotify. I'll just tell you that right now, but you can find it on YouTube. It's a little harder to find an original copy of this, but you can find it on Discogs. You might pay a little for it, but it's definitely worth it. I'm ranking this at number 7, but I'd still give this a 7 out of 10. This is a very solid album. We got a lot of songs on here, very reminiscent of their commercial peak in the late 80s to early 90s, particularly a song like 911, which I think is very, very catchy. May have been a hit single if it was released as a single back in 88 or 89. We got a cool opener here in Ball Baby. We got some cool solid rockers here and Fireballs and Baby Time Bomb. One thing about Kix is there were a lot of comparisons to AC/DC sound wise with them, not image wise or anything like that. Sound wise, they had a lot of AC/DC like riffs. If you listen to Put My Money Where Your Mouth Is, it may sound familiar if you're a fan of their 1978 album, AC/DC 78 album, Power Age. You listen to that, it sounds very riffraff. When they get out of that vein, it's a pretty cool tune. Last 4 songs on here, I think, are very, very strong. And 2 of them don't sound like Kix at all. But what they do here with them is very well. Goes over very well. She Loves Me Not, the darkest song they ever did, lyrically and musically. Steve has a great vocal performance on here. It's got a very eerie feel to it. This is one of the few times you could say it doesn't sound like a party. And the longest song they ever did, over 7 minutes. You got this very cool guitar solo during the outro. It works very well. Fireboy's very cool. Sounds a lot like 911. Very, very catchy. I'm Bombed is the band going funk. This is more chic than it is Kix. As someone who loves funk, I love I'm Bombed. I think the song's excellent. If You Run Around is a ballad, which is more 70s R&B, and it's delivery and the keyboards in the background. You have a viola solo here from Paul Chavant, who was Jimmy's father. Very, very cool. Definitely not a power ballad. It's just a straight up 70s sounding ballad. Works very well. So, probably their most diverse album. A lot of good songs on here. My number 6 is Show Business. I'm sorry, number 7 is their 6th album, Show Business from 1995. Number 6 is the band's 7th and last album from 2014. That is Rock Your Face Off. At this point, Mark Schenker would be on bass guitar and replacing Donnie Purnell, who had actually left the band in 2003. In 2003, when the band got back together, Donnie didn't come in with the band. So Mark Schenker had played in Steve Whiteman's band Funny Money for the last several years before this. Mark Schenker is actually taken over for Donnie in the fact that he's co-writing a lot of songs on here as well. This was produced by Taylor Rhodes. This was released on Loud and Proud Records. It actually went up to number 48 on the Billboard Top 200 album charts. Their second highest charting album here in the United States. Now, if you listen to this album, this definitely reminds you more of their commercial peak. It's a lot very driving hard rock on here. You got a cool ballad on here. So if you like the Blow My Fuse, Hot Wire era, you'll definitely dig this. Wheels in Motion is a kick-ass opener. Very, very driving. It's awesome. You're Gone is very, very catchy. Nice call and response during the chorus on here. Can't Stop the Shows, another cool tune. Song that they played live quite a bit. Rollin' in Honey's very good. Rock Your Face Off is another cool, charismatic song on here. Is very cool. Now, if you listen to a song called Dirty Girls, you're going to hear a little more of that AC/DC sound on there, as well as Rock and Roll Showdown. They're all cool. Inside Outside In is a ballad that very much so, especially lyrically, it's very cool. Mean Misadventure, Love Me with Your Top Down are songs that they did live, and I saw them do them live. They always went over very well. So everything on here is very solid. The highlights, I'd say, are definitely Wheels in Motion, probably You're Gone, Inside Outside In, Love Me with Your Top Down. Very solid album that I would also give a 7. This is my number 6, the band's 7th album from 2014, and this is Rock Your Face Off. My number 5 is an album that the band doesn't like very much at all. In fact, so the last show that I saw them, and I'll go into that in a little while, they didn't like to play songs off this live. This is Kix's second album and their second album on Atlantic Records, released in 1983. This is Cool Kids. Cool Kids. You listen to this in hindsight, it's more of a what's it's a diverse album. It sounds like they're trying to find their sound, where by the first album, the self-titled debut, you would think they already found it. Schizophrenic album, I would say. I don't know if it was the record company or if it was their management. They're trying to get Kicks on the radio, and they're giving them more of a new wave sheen on here. So that nice power pop you really had on the first album, you don't have too much of that. You got some new wave songs on here. You also have songs on here that will point to direction where they will go on Midnight Dynamite. You got 3 cover songs on here, including the title track, Cool Kids, Burning Love, and Body Talk. Body Talk was originally a Nick Gilder song. Now, I have a soft spot for this record. The reason I do is when I was 11 years old, when this album came out, I would hear the songs Cool Kids and Body Talk on my local pop station, and that was WKRZ FM out of Pittston, Pennsylvania. Still in existence. It's now called KRZ FM. And what that station would do is after 10 p.m., they would play songs that weren't your typical top 40 songs, and they would often play Cool Kids and Body Talk. Body Talk is very, very new wave with those studio tricks and those loud keyboards. It doesn't sound like Kicks. I always thought the song was cool. Now, Cool Kids, the song, is a great anthem of youth, and it's a song that the band rarely ever played live. But I always dug it. I mean, it's a sentimental feeling with me with those songs in this album. You got other songs on here that are more new wavy, like Loco Emotion. I mean, they get a little too poppy for me. But Love Pollution, Nice on Ice, they got more of that power pop sound you'd have on the debut. Mighty Mouth and Restless Blood are driving, and they're excellent. And they would really point to the direction you hear on Midnight Dynamite forward. And For Shame is a wonderful ballad on here. This is the only album that Brad Divins would play lead guitar on. And This album, band doesn't like it. I still quite like it a lot. This is my number five. This is Cool Kids from 1983. This was produced by Pete Soley. My number four and three are very, very close. But with my number four, I'm going to go with Midnight Dynamite, Kix's third album, released on Atlantic Records. This is from 1985. This is more the Kicks you know and love if you know their more popular work. Is when they became more hard rock. Some people would say hair metal, glam metal. This is a hard rock album. This is very, very good. The title song is a crowd favorite. It's been in the set, was in the set list forever. Very, very cool. You got a lot of mid-tempo, cool hard rock songs on here with nice choruses like Red Hot, Black and Blue, Bang Bang, Balls of Fire. Cold Shower's got an excellent funk groove on it. It's really, really cool. Then you got some driving songs that went over very, very well live, like Laying Rubber, Lie Like a Rug, Walking Away is the ballad. Very, very 80s sounding with those shiny keyboards in there, but it's a very nice, well-constructed song. Sex is the closer. That's got very, very catchy. It's got some good riff on it, and it's just very vocal melody on there as well. Scarlet Fever kicks ass. Crybaby's very strong. Very good album. I give this an 8.5, easy out of 10. This is my number four, Midnight Dynamite from 1985. Lest I not forget, it came out with a relit version. This came out in 2020, I believe. And this is a remixed version of Midnight Dynamite. You got the demos on disc 2. You can also listen to this on Spotify. I bought this at one of Kix's live shows. I will talk about another release that I bought at one of their shows very shortly. My number three is Kix's 1991 album. It was their fifth album and their last on Atlantic. This is last studio on Atlantic. This is Hot Wire. Hot Wire, I think, would have received a better fate if it was released a little bit earlier. This was released right around the time grunge was about to take over the airwaves and a lot of music fans' attention. And I was really big into grunge at that time as well, but I still liked a lot of the great melodic hard rock that was out at that time. And you certainly got a lot of it here. The title song on here is a wicked driving opener. Girl Money, very, very Bon Scott and Steve's vocal on here was the single. And it's one of their most famous singles. It is a kick-ass track. We have another cool ballad here in Tear Down the Walls. And I think in another time, if this was released maybe a year earlier, maybe they would have had another ballad as a big hit, which I'll talk about shortly. But you got some cool diversity on here, some catchy stuff. Bump the La La, silly but catchy. Cold Chills is more mid-tempo. I love that bass line on here from Donnie. It's very, very strong. Cool tune. Love the chorus. Same Jane. Got a cool AC/DC like opener, think Kicked in the Teeth. And then it becomes its own song. It's quite catchy. Heebie Jeebie Crush is a driving closer. It works very well. Loveaholics, very good. Rock and Roll Overdose is very over the top and it rocks like hell. It's awesome. Pants on Fire is really cool. This album was also produced by Taylor Rhodes. This is my number three. This is Hot Wire from 1991. My number two is the band's most successful release. This is a platinum album here in the United States. It hit number 46 on the top 200 album charts on Billboard. This is Blow My Fuse. This was released in 1988, fourth album, originally produced by Tom Werman. This is the 30th anniversary edition. I had a cassette back in the day and I wore that sucker out. Now, as far as one half of an album, like a first side of a cassette, vinyl was on its way out by that point. You can't get much better than the first side of Blow My Fuse. The first side is fantastic. Red Light, Green Light, TNT is a wonderful opener. It's very, very catchy. It's got a lot of great vocal hooks on here. Get It While It's Hot is another melodic rocker. There's some keyboards on here, but I think it just enhances the song rather it takes anything away. It still feels like a cool kick-ass rocker. Wonderful chorus on here. No Ring on Around Rosie is my favorite song by Kix. No Ring Around Rosie, I think, is what rock and roll is all about. It is catchy. There are so many great hooks on this. Got a wonderful harmonica solo on here. The production is, maybe a little 80s, but I think it still holds up today. It's so spirited. It's so joyous. They always play this live. I'm saying I should say they always played it live because they're no longer playing live. They're no longer a band. But oh, this is a fantastic track. My second favorite song from 1988. That's how much I love it. And we go into Don't Close Your Eyes, which was the power ballad of the album, their biggest hit number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1988. This is a power ballad. It's a song about suicide. And despite its resemblance to Dream On Early with that piano, the song really comes into its own. It's very well constructed. I think this is Steve's finest vocal performance. I think the bridge on here is to die for. It really, really makes this song. It is excellent. The guitar solo on here is very lyrical. Everything is in its right place. Wonderful song. She Dropped Me the Bomb is another great, catchy melodic rocker that works very well. And then we go to side two. Cold Blood would be the first video on MTV that got played a lot. And it got played a lot on AOR, and it got played a little bit on Top 40. This is a kick-ass track that went over very well live. There was a lot of crowd participation on this one. Piece of the Pie. This is another cool melodic rocker with another cool chorus on it. Blow My Fuse, the title track, is another awesome tune on here. Very, very catchy. Boomerang and Dirty Boys are the only songs on here I wouldn't say are top notch, but they're still pretty cool. They stand out when you compare them to everything else around it, though. But they're all good songs on here. Now, this is the remixed and remastered version that I have here, and we have the demo recordings for Below My Fuse on disc 2. And this you can also find on Spotify if you can't find the physical CD. This I give a 9 out of 10 with full confidence. The original was produced by Tom Werman. This is my number 2, Blow My Fuse from 1988. My number 1 is Kix's self-titled debut from 1981. Now, to me, this is one of the great unknown power pop records because this is not a hard rock record at all. Tom Allen produces it. Tom Allen, best known for all the great albums he did with Judas Priest. The production here is similar to British Steel. It's very dry. The guitars don't have that punch or that distortion that you would have later. I mean, even the harder rocking songs on Cool Kids, they rock hard in just about anything on here, except maybe The Kid. But Atomic Bombs is a wonderful opener. It's just very driving and catchy. Love at First Sight is cool power pop. Very catchy, memorable chorus on there. Heartache, we're going more pop, but it's awesome. Very cool tune. Poisons, a little closer in feel to what they would do, starring with Midnight Dynamite. Very cool. The Itch is one of the best songs they ever did. The guitar line is very, very memorable. It's a great hook. The chorus is simple yet so effective and very, very catchy. It was always a crowd favorite. One of their best songs for sure. Kicks Are for Kids, very driving, very joyous, an anthem of youth. Works so well. Contrary Mary, we're going a little more power pop here, but this is so catchy and cool. Another cool chorus. The Kid is heavier. This is one that band would play live quite a bit as well. Again, more akin to what we would get later. And Yeah, 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 which is a live track that closes the album. 6 minutes, 57 seconds. This shows Steve Whiteman's personality and his charisma at its top level. I think that Steve Whiteman is one of the best frontmen in rock and roll history. It's just that a lot of people don't really know it. Very catchy song, so many great vocal hooks on here. The ad lib for the last few minutes of the song before they go back into the main theme is really, really cool. One of their most enduring songs is a song that they did live, they would close their live shows with for many, many years. And this was the first song I ever heard by Kix. I also heard this on WRKC, I'm sorry, WKRZ FM out of Pittston, Pennsylvania, our pop station. I did hear it on WRKC Radio Kings College back in the day too, but that would have been a little bit later. But I heard this song as a new release, although I would not buy the album until many, many years later. But as it is, I think this is a power pop classic. This is one of my favorite albums from 1981. I put this in my top 10 of 81, and there's a lot of albums from 81 I would put as a 10 out of 10, and this is one of them. This is my number one self-titled debut from Kix, 1981. So I will go through my ranking one more time, and then I'll talk a little bit about Kix as a live band. My number 7 is Show Business from 1995. My number 6 is Rock Your Face Off from 2014. My number 5 is Cool Kids from 1983. My number 4 is Midnight Dynamite from 1985. My number 3 is Hot Wire from 1991. My number 2 is Blow My Fuse from 1988. My number 1 is Kix's self-titled debut from 1981. Now, Kix Live is one of these bands I wish I'd seen so many years earlier, but I'm glad that I got to see this band 6 times in the last 9 years they were active, and that was from 2014 to 2023 is when I saw the band live. When they were playing bars and clubs here in northeastern Pennsylvania, I was either too young to drive or I was too young to drink, obviously. And by the time I was be able to drink, they were playing arenas as an opening band or a special guest, and I didn't get a chance to see them. This is one of the best bands that I ever saw live. As far as a hard rock band for a live show, I think they're the best live band I ever saw in as far as a hard rock band goes. They always had a ton of energy. They give you a 1 hour, 45-minute set. They would always, there'd be some songs they'd always have to play, but outside that, they would mix stuff up. Steve Whiteman had energy that never subsided. Like Mick Jagger. He was like the Mick Jagger of hard rock as far as a frontman. One of the best frontmen that ever lived, and as far as I'm concerned, fantastic frontman. And the band were always tight live. They always gave you a great show. I saw them 4 times at Penn's Peak in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, which is my favorite venue to see a show. And I saw them twice near their stomping grounds in Columbia, Maryland at Meriwether Post Pavilion. The first time I saw them was in 2015 when they headlined a Friday night show at the M3 Hard Rock Festival. M3 is still going on every year. It's the first weekend in May. And they would headline Friday night for several years. I saw them that year in 2015. The last time I saw them was their last show, September 17, 2023. I normally don't wear baseball hats, but this is the hat that they were selling at the show. This is the t-shirt that they were selling at the show. And they said, we're only selling them at the show. And you're waiting a good 45 minutes to an hour to get merch that night. Child's Play, a band out of Baltimore who's been around a long time. They opened, they put on a very good set as well. The set was pretty good. They probably played about 2.5 hours. And that night, Bob Pear was on lead guitar. He was their lead guitarist for the last several years. And Ronnie Youngkins came out and played a few songs. And they had Brad Divins, who played on Cool Kids, and he played a few songs. And then they did this long jam at the end for Yeah, Yeah, Yeah. And you had guitar solos there from Brian, Bob, Brad, and Ronnie, and it was a great show. The only thing I would have changed is one is it rained the whole time, and two, they did these two instrumental medleys. And I would have took those medleys out and put songs in there in their place. So yeah, outside of that, it was a great show. It was the only time I saw them play songs off of Cool Kids, and they played For Shame and they played Mighty Mouth that night. They didn't hit show business that night, but 911 would have been a great one to hear that night, and Cool Kids, of course. So, what do you think of Kicks? Have you seen Kicks live? Have you seen Kicks more recently, or did you see them when they were coming up? Did you see them at Hammerjacks in Baltimore, Maryland? They played so many shows there. Did you see them in a club here in Northeastern Pennsylvania? Did you see them as a special guest when they were playing arenas? What are your favorite albums by Kicks? How would you rank these albums? What are your favorite songs by Kicks? Is Steve Whiteman one of the best rock and roll frontmen you've ever seen? And what do you think of this catalog? To me, for my money, this is one of the best catalogs for a hard rock band during that time. I'm not saying heavy metal, I'm saying a hard rock band. Even if I call the debut a power pop album, they're more considered a hard rock band. Please let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Do what you love, and I'll talk to you soon.